Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to A Motivated Mind with Jen Cole. I am Jen, and I am so glad you're here. So, I have not been here in a while, and that's obvious. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I haven't done videos. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is because when I'm on the other end of a video, when I'm watching somebody talk on a video and there's no real passion behind it, they're not inspired with what they're talking about, things like that, I can tell. And I don't want to watch a video where somebody is just making it for the sake of making a video or to hear themselves talk, and I'm not going to be that person. I won't do that. So if I don't feel motivated, as the title of my channel, A Motivated Mind, if I don't feel inspired, motivated, or feel passion behind what I'm talking about, then I'm not making a video. Two, I have felt completely and utterly blocked creatively. In my writing, in the content that I put out for YouTube, in the magazine I write for, in the magazine that I created, which we're going to talk about that too, the platform. I am excited about what's going on there, but I have felt completely blocked, like up against the wall mentally. And you know, I do a lot of my thinking when I'm in the shower or when I'm driving. And I haven't done much driving, which brings me to my third reason that I haven't put a video out. Because I'm not going to talk about what everybody else is talking about. I'm not going to talk about things the same way everybody is talking about them. We're all in our house. We know what's going on. We all have the news. We all have Google. We all have the internet. We all have all of these things. We know how stressful it is when something as little as just going to the grocery store to buy milk and bread and, you know, meat can turn into this epically stressful, overwhelming event because we're limited on the things we can buy. We don't know what's going to be there. We don't know when they're getting more things in. We don't know when things are going to completely get back to normal. We don't even know if we really want them to get back to normal. And then there's those that are in a rush to get back, for things to get back to the way they were. And everybody has their own opinions about it. And I just feel that whatever your personal feelings are is because of however the situation is in your home. I have lupus. It's an autoimmune disorder. So I'm very susceptible to things, to everything. And my son has breathing conditions where he has breathing treatment, 2 of them. And something as little as a cold can turn into something serious. So in my particular household, for my particular family, it's really stressful. I had been in the house exactly 90 days, not going anywhere, and then I decided to go to the grocery store. And it was really overwhelming and something that I'm not in a hurry to do anytime soon. My husband is the one who goes out, does all of that stuff right now. So that was a big change too for me. And sometimes when we are faced with situations that we cannot control, then we internalize stress. I do. And it affects areas of my life that I didn't even realize it would. So I became completely and utterly creatively blocked with everything. And like I said, I'm not going to just put videos out for the sake of putting out content. I don't believe that quantity matches quality. I don't believe that. There's millions and millions of videos on the internet, and I believe that it's just not by accident that you're watching this one today. And I appreciate that you're taking the time that you have. I believe that time is the most precious thing that we have, because we can't save it, we can't get it back once it's gone, and we can't make up for it when it's lost. So the fact that you would take part of your time in your day to watch me means more to you than I can tell you. So I didn't want to just put out content just for you all to hear me talk, because you can call me or message me and hear me talk or watch one of my other videos. But so I figured that if I was going through something like this, then you all had to be too, as far as being like blocked. And it doesn't have to be something as far as like being creative. You know, a lot of what I do for a living as far as writing and running a magazine and this and everything, and the planners I make, it all is around being creative. But you can feel like that in things that you don't even have to be creative with. You can feel mentally blocked because you're so stressed that it's hard for you just to do what you're supposed to do on a daily basis. Get up, make coffee, work out, whatever it is your morning routine looks like. You can feel so overwhelmed and so mentally clouded that you can't even do the normal things that you do without feeling overwhelmed. And that's what I was going through as well. Things that I had wished that I had for a long time. Like, I would say things such as, I wish that I just had enough time to hang out with my kids. I wish that I didn't have to go anywhere every day. I wish that I had time to sit down with them and be the one to teach them things. And then all of a sudden I had all this time, and then I became completely overwhelmed, and just to the point to where little things were too much for me that shouldn't have been. Dishes, laundry, cleaning up, things like that should not be so overwhelming to the point that I kind of felt like I was on autopilot, just going through the motions and not really being able to enjoy what I was doing. And I had to really sit down and think about what I was doing. I made my own self a household planner, and then from that I made myself this journal that kind of, you know, everything, like the envelope and everything I made, and I just put some spots in here to where I can write whatever I'm feeling at that moment. And it has like where the pages where I write about what I'm reading, and a lot of spaces to write about things and what I'm doing. And there's no wrong way to make these. If you don't want to buy a planner, and you know, a lot of people would say that's counterproductive because you own a planner business, but you know, the planners that I make for people, it's to help them find joy in the things that they have to do. When you're in recovery, you're supposed to do step work if that's what you're doing, the 12-step program. Either the fellowship of NA or AA, you're supposed to do the 12 steps. So the step work and the running a house and everything, that's a lot of responsibility. So I try to, you know, add a little bit of fun to it. So I made this own personal little journal thing for me. And I found that just sitting down and writing exactly what was on my mind, with knowing that I didn't have to share it with anybody, that it's okay to say, I'm not okay at this moment. I am completely overwhelmed because I need to change a diaper, or because the house is dirty, or because there's dishes again. When we don't want to admit what we're going through, then that causes us more stress. So then we become stressed about the stress. We become stressed about the emotion. It's okay to feel not okay at the moment. It's okay to say, I just don't like cleaning the house all the time. I don't want to do this all the time. It's not fun to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a child when you're trying to sleep when you're tired. And there's so much pressure on people, on parents, to have all of this joy all the time and all of these amazing feelings. And I have all of them. I love the fact that my 2-year-old daughter wakes up and the first thing she wants to do is hug me. I love the fact that my 3-year-old little boy, though he is nonverbal, which he is starting to talk a lot more, he will say hi in his own way and hug me. And my 5-year-old will say, Mommy, can we do this today? Because he just wants my time. I have all those amazing things. When I talk to my teenagers about things that's going on in their life, when my 16-year-old tells me about his girlfriend, or my 14-year-old tells me about things that he's doing with wrestling, you know, they are sharing a part of their life with me, and I don't take any of that for granted. The scale of life that my kids are on such different stages in life that they want me to be a part of that, and that's amazing to me, and I don't take any of that for granted. But that doesn't mean that I have to be overjoyed because my daughter won't sleep sometimes. It doesn't mean that I have to be excited and want to do cartwheels because they're hungry and they just ate dinner and they just threw their dinner on the floor and now they're not eating and now they want a snack. It's okay to be frustrated about frustrating situations. One of my closest friends, her name is Kelly, and I talk about her a lot. And she has an amazing way of putting things in perspective for me sometimes. And she taught me a long time ago that it's okay to be mad about things. When a person passes away, or when somebody relapses that you had a lot of faith in, or when your kids are not listening, it's okay to be upset at that moment. It's okay, and it doesn't make you a bad person to say, I don't like the way my kids are acting right now. I don't like this. It doesn't make you a bad mom. It doesn't make you a bad friend to not like something that's going on. So what I had to do was learn to take, instead of holding all that in, because guilt that comes with feelings doesn't help. It's not productive at all. It's counterproductive. It goes against moving forward mentally or any way at all. So I sat down and I wrote everything that I was feeling. Also, something else that I had to learn again, and I believe that life will let us learn the same lesson over and over again until we really get it. When you have that feeling inside of you, whether you want to call it an intuition, or I've heard people say their mind's eye, whatever that really means, or I've heard people say that the Lord showed them, or they felt it in their spirit or in their heart, or they just felt icky. When you feel that a situation is not right, whether it's business, personal, or whatever plateau that it's on, when you feel that something isn't right and you ignore that, it's going to affect you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. When I got into a business arrangement with a situation and there was something that didn't feel quite right to me about it, I ignored all of my feelings. And I had absolute mental, this feeling of pressure and causing me so much anxiety for no reason. When I broke free of that situation, the moment that I was done with it, I felt completely free again. And when I admitted how I felt, how I truly felt about the situation, and how I ignored all of these warning signs, because we get them and we ignore them and then we regret that we ignored those feelings, I felt free mentally. And my creativity came back because I was using coping skills that I had told people 1,000 times. Don't feel bad about the way you feel. When we stress about the stress instead of the situation, then we're not even allowing ourselves to deal with the situation that's in front of us. So when I was taking and holding all of this in, when my cup inside, my spiritual cup was so full of anxiety and worry and stress and pressure, when I wrote all of that out and I got all of that out, I was once again able to be filled back up with what it takes for me to be able to do what I need to do on a daily basis. Each and every one of us has a different, what our day looks like. When I make planners for people, they don't look the same because we're not all the same people. I ask people what their favorite time of the day is, what their most productive time of the day is, and usually those two line up. And I had to look at what it takes for me to do what I need to do. And I feel like I'm me again. It's hard. It's really hard when we have these situations before us that we cannot control. Or when we're involved in a situation with somebody that we cannot control. And it causes us an immense amount of stress. So I have not forgot about you all at all. But you will never ever watch a video and feel like I was just doing it because I needed to do one. I do feel inspired again. I do feel creative again. I do feel joy again. I had lost joy about the things that I had prayed to have. Some of you guys know my story of and struggles with addiction. I didn't think I was ever going to get a second chance at being a mom. And God showed me mercy and grace. And I have that each and every day. And I had lost all the joy of with it because I was so overwhelmed. And the more stressed out that I felt, the more guilty I felt about the stress. But it's okay to be stressed out about waking up in the middle of the night. It's okay to feel aggravated sometimes when we don't get to finish our food. Most of the times I don't even eat dinner till late at night when everybody's in bed because I'd rather just not have to stop and start eating. I'd rather just wait. But I began to become so overwhelmed with it that I was just so frustrated. And then I felt bad that I was frustrated about it. And that doesn't help. I was denying myself the right to feel things. I was subconsciously telling myself with my actions and the way that I felt that if I wasn't happy and overwhelmed, I'm so blessed to be able to do these things. I don't have a right to be stressed out and worried. That's not true. And I see this a lot in recovery. When somebody gets their kids back, somebody just gets out of jail, somebody just, reaches 30 days, their family will not allow them to feel stressed out, normal mom or dad, stressful moments. They will say things like, shouldn't you just be glad that you got your kids back? Shouldn't you be glad that you're out of jail? Yes. And they are. And I was and I am. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to have stressful moments just like everybody else. Just like people that's never been to jail. Just like people that's never dealt with addiction. Allow yourself and allow your family to have those moments of stress. Allow yourself to have those moments to where you're just not that happy. So that you can learn how to deal with stress. How do you know that you can if you never allow yourself to feel stress? It's okay to be aggravated. It's okay to be stressed out. It's okay to be wanting to yell sometimes. I don't suggest screaming, depending on where you are. But it's okay to cry and it's okay to be aggravated. Don't stay in that though. Write it out. Talk it out. Cry it out. Music is one of my biggest outlets because it lets me feel. The rhythm of a music can sway your mind to different, it can put you in a happy place and it can put you in a sad, regretful place. That's why the song that I play at the beginning of these videos is upbeat, happy kind of music, because that's the tone that I want to set for these videos, because I don't want to be, even though the topics of my videos sometimes are kind of serious, that's not the tone I want to set in the beginning. So I've thought about you guys, and I've sat down and I tried to write out a couple scripts a few times, and I just had nothing to draw from. Because when you are so full of worry and anxiety and stress, and you're not allowing yourself to deal with that, then you have no room for anything else. So when I use the coping skills that I know to use, and I leaned on the people that I can trust, and I started allowing myself to, I gave myself the permission that I give you guys all the time. I gave myself permission to feel, to be human, to be vulnerable, to be a person who makes mistakes. When I allowed myself to be human and myself, then I allowed myself to just be not okay for a moment. And then I picked myself back up and I felt that feeling that we all have when we have one of those seriously breakdown cries. Not a little cry, like where you look pretty, but an ugly cry to where you're so into it that where you're getting all of that stuff out. And then after the cry, you feel uplifted and better and like lighter, because you've emptied out all of that frustration like a tea kettle at the beginning of the whistle. And the situations that we've been going through, here baby, Take them on the porch with Daddy. And the situation that we've been in here with not being able to leave, and we don't know what's going on with money, and we don't know what's going on with our finances and money and going to the store and, you know, the health situation. When we're stuck in situations and we don't know what's going on, that creates a whole nother type of stress than the normal day-to-day stress. But then guess what? We still have the normal day-to-day stresses as well. We still have to feed our kids. We still have light bills and rent and mortgages and car payments and all of these things that we had before. So now when we have unexpected, serious stress that we can't control, that we don't know what's going to happen, on top of the already day-to-day when some of us were already struggling trying to pay debt off or whatever the situation was. So when you have that stress on top of that stress on top of that stress, and you're trying to hold it all together, because we have to hold it together. We can't break down in front of our kids all the time. We need to be assuring them that everything is okay. But who's assuring us? And some of us have a relationship with God. And some of us have a spiritual relationship to where we can, you know, have somebody to lean on. And some of us have faith. And some of us, you know, have an outlet. But sometimes we don't use those outlets all the time. Here, baby, you want your ball? Sometimes we don't always have them. And it becomes a lot. It becomes too much for some of us. And I didn't realize I was even doing that. I didn't even realize it. I just thought I was doing what I was supposed to do by holding everything together, and that's not what I was doing. I wasn't allowing myself to feel anything. I wasn't allowing myself to be human. I was expecting more out of myself than I would ever expect from any of you. Because I would never expect any of you to just go through such a stressful, sometimes traumatic situations on things and just go with the flow. I would never do that. So I allowed myself to feel, and I allowed myself to be human. And it caused me to not have a breakdown with things. And now I'm better because I allowed myself to be human. And I allowed myself to feel, and I didn't hold guilt over the things that I felt. Here, baby. And once I did that, I got back to feeling that I'm okay. You know, I wear this shirt a lot. It says, living my best life. I don't want anybody else's definition of a great life but mine. I don't need the same things that other people need, and some people don't need the same things I need to feel like they're living their best life. It's not about a clear-cut Webster's Dictionary definition of a best life. It's your definition of happiness. It's your definition of success. It's your definition of a best life. That's what I'm trying to accomplish and trying to achieve. My own personal goals. And they're not going to be the same as everybody, and I'm glad for that. And I'm truly blessed to breathe mentally and feel like I'm okay just the way that I am. And it's okay to be me. And I will be back soon with another video. If you have not, please subscribe before you forget. Go ahead and do that now. Hit the little red subscribe button at the bottom. And message me on here and let me know what you've been doing to deal with all of the extra stress of everything. Not working, or you have to work, or whatever your situation looks like. Let me know what you've been doing. Your coping skills might be the very thing that somebody needs to hear to put things in a different perspective. Each and every one of us has something to offer and something to give. And never, ever, ever sell yourself short. There is a gift inside each and every one of us. And sometimes that gift is compassion. And sometimes it's love. Because sometimes it's hard to show ourselves those things. I can look at somebody on the, that's in an unfortunate circumstance of being homeless at the moment, and look at them and give that person compassion and empathy. But it's really hard to do that for myself sometimes when I lose my patience or, oversleep or whatever. It's really hard for me to show myself the same kind of compassion that I show other people. So that's why we need people in our life that look at us and say, hey, it's okay to just be. I'm so glad that you've stayed here and watched this. I hope that you watched the other videos in my on my channel. I'm really glad to be back. It feels really good to feel like I'm me again. Thank you for watching. It means so much to me. There is another issue of my magazine coming out in June. Oh, was a bug. I do have a magazine called The Platform.mag, and I'm very excited. This is the cover from April, and I'm very, very excited. We did win an award from Innovative Designers for the creative design layout of the magazine, and that makes me very excited. Check out the magazine. We have another issue coming out in June. We are a bi-monthly, multi-diverse, non-biased magazine devoted to just about every area of a person's life. We cover fashion, fitness. We have a Thrive section, which is all about spiritual quest and journey that we're all on. Some assembly required is for family and parenting. There's the Page Turner, which is about books, just about everything that a person could want. Recovery Uncovered, about struggles from people or family members that dealt with addiction. There's Survivor's Corner, people that survive domestic violence. The Spotlight section, which is shining a spotlight on a young person ages 13 to 19 who has an outstanding character, plus much more. I hope to see you there. Thanks. Bye-bye. And as always, I'm Jen Cole, and I approve this message.